Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Tammy Talks here. We are here to talk in Just Like That, Season 1, Episode 8, Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered. If you're brand new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I do TV show breakdowns. I talk pop culture, current events, all the type of stuff. So if you enjoy that type of content, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, join the party over here. Let's get right into the episode. I think there's, 2 episodes left? I'm sure it's like a 10 episode season, but Miranda want to be gay so bad. And I hate to say it like that, but it just doesn't look natural for her. It doesn't seem natural. It could be the way Cynthia is playing the character, but it's very cringy. So she's at an LGBT rally where Che is giving a speech. It's a lot of Che. I didn't think that Che would be such a big pivotal part of the cast, because I feel like they were promoting Nicole Ari Parker way more than they promoted, I can't think of her name, way more than they promoted the actress that plays Che. But nonetheless, so they're talking about, she's thanking the allies of the LGBT community, and Miranda is out there cheering and just woo, just looking like a little smitten schoolgirl staring at her crush. And she kind of looks over and she sees Brady and Brady's girlfriend. Now, Miranda, who is like 1 foot out the closet or whatever she has going on, doesn't want her son to see her and make it awkward when it could really just be you on there on some ally stuff like he is. So she awkwardly, stealthily moves and everything. So she's running through the crowd, and Che sees her. And it's at a point where Che is talking about people that are hiding who they are. And, because when you hide yourself, your light doesn't shine, and it's very motivational. Meanwhile, Miranda is running like the feds are after her. Girl, just walk normally away. I didn't understand why she was doing that. So after Che is done giving her speech, Miranda comes over to her with 2 iced coffees and was like, I got these for us. Che is like, yeah, I saw you leave. What the hell was that? Are the cops looking out for you? Why were you running away like that? Miranda is like, oh, well, I saw my son and his girlfriend. I didn't want him to see me here together with you. And Che is like, why? Doesn't he know about us? And she's like, no, he doesn't know about you. He doesn't know about me. So Che is confused. She's like, he doesn't notice you're in an open marriage. Miranda's not in an open marriage. So Che is pissed because it's girl, I thought that you were. Now, this is twofold here. One, Che, you know what happens when you assume. Okay? But I don't know why you would assume that she was in an open marriage. People don't cheat every day. People cheat every day, B. So I don't know why Che was so taken aback that somebody is cheating on their marriage. That happens often. Miranda, on the other hand, you can't say, oh, well, you never asked. Because that's not something that people ask, is it? Do people typically ask, are you in an open marriage? I don't know. Nonetheless, Che's pissed. Because, she doesn't want to be, privy or, be a part of somebody that's cheating on their spouse when it boils down to at the end of the day. So she tells her, I don't sneak around, I don't cheat, I don't lie, and I certainly am not a homewrecker. So we can't do this anymore. And Miranda is like, no, it's fine. I love, and it's Miranda, girl, please, because Miranda is really stressing me out with this. This is silly. So Miranda is kind of acting like it's not a big deal. So I guess they have been having sex for the past 3 weeks. She's been spending the night with Che and then going home in the morning. And it's girl, what are you doing? You are too old for this, Miranda. You're too old for this. So back at Carrie's apartment, she has all her clothes, all her dresses kind of on racks. And Seema comes over. And she says that she's been working with Lily, who is Charlotte's daughter. And they're cataloging everything and getting everything together. Carrie pulls out that extravagant Versace dress that we saw her wear. What was that? I want to say the last season when she was over in Paris. The night that she got all dressed up and that Russian man she was dating never came back home. He was out super late, so they didn't get to go. They're supposed to go to dinner or something. So Seema is like, I got to smoke after seeing that dress. So she pulls out a cigarette, and Carrie was like, no, can't smoke in here because it gets everywhere. Carrie wasn't smoking until she got back with, or excuse me, until Big died. And then she was hanging out with Seema, and she had that cigarette after putting the house, having the house staged and all that other kind of stuff. So Carrie said the only time she smokes is when she is outside walking the block and she has her hair pinned up and she's wearing plastic gloves so that the smell doesn't get into her. The smell doesn't stick to her and it doesn't make her crave more cigarettes. I don't smoke, so I don't know if that's foolproof or not, but seems like a logical plan to me. So Carrie, later that night, Carrie tells her, we can go sit outside. I sit outside with you on the stoop if you still want to have a cigarette, if my neighbor isn't out there. So there's a younger girl that lives below Carrie, and she's always out on the stoop. And Carrie was like, she's always out there, always stooping it up. So later that night, it's like 2:30 in the morning, and we see it's like a gang of folk out there now kicking it. So they're loud. There's one girl that's laughing obnoxiously loud, and because of that, Carrie can't sleep. So she calls her little podcast buddy, and she was like, you're the only one I know that will be up this time of night. How can I ask somebody to keep it down without sounding like an old hag? And he was like, you can't. Unless you go out there with a gun, but he's like, you can't, like, just close the window. Carrie said the window is closed, but that woman's laugh is like just permeating everything. So the laughing gets too much. Carrie opens the window, yells out, come on, because it is late. You know what I mean? So they tell her, sorry, ma'am, and then they get quiet. So then she closes the window, and then they're just back talking like normal again. So Carrie is like, she's not going to be able to sleep. So we have Charlotte and Harry the next morning. Charlotte wants Harry to wear this like fitness ring. I've never heard of those. Sounds rich. Okay. And he's telling her that he's in his fighter body, like best health he's ever been in. I'm assuming that's what that means. And she's like, no, because if you die, I'm going to kill you. So he's like, give me the ring the proper way. So she fake gets on one knee and proposes to him. Cute little whatever. She puts the ring on and he tells her, I have one earring on. And he tells her, since you're down there, do you want to, what? So she's like, yeah. So the door is open. So she's unzipping his pants, pulling it out. And they hear Lily come to the door because Lily has a question. Now, the door is open. Charlotte, panics. So she turns, slams the door closed. It hits Lily in the head. So Lily is like, the fuck? So she then tells her, I'm checking your dad for cancer. And I said, Lord have mercy. You couldn't think of anything else. Cancer, Charlotte? And then she tells Lily, it's just a bump. You'll be fine. So the next day, Carrie has a face mask on and she hears a knock on the door. She thinks it's Seema, but it is her neighbor. And she's apologizing and she was like, sorry, we were loud. That wasn't cool, whatever. So Carrie is like, it's fine. I wasn't asleep. I only said that because I'm a writer. I write books, which is not a lie. So she tells her that's the only reason. And the girl was like, okay, sorry, she was just on some, whatever you were doing, we shouldn't have been that loud, we're sorry in general. So we have Charlotte, Miranda, and Carrie at lunch. Miranda tells them she's going to ask Steve for a divorce. I said, ugh. Because Shay told her that as long as you were with Steve, we cannot be, right? So Charlotte said that she's not judging, no ma'am, because she's too busy trying to deal with her own life, her own issues, and she said that it involves Lily. So everybody was like, Lily? Because Charlotte never has problems out of Lily. So she says that Lily almost saw her blowing, as she said, blowing Harry. And they were like, you still going down, girl? And she was like, yes, why? And they so it was funny how they were just making jokes. They were like, is it his birthday? Is he dying? It was a funny scene. One of the very few funny scenes we have had from this show. And Carrie just tells her, reframe it. Find a way to rework what happened. Talk to her as an adult, because The way kids going now, she may be doing it herself. She may be doing it herself, but find a way to just reframe and talk about how, because of what you went through as a child, where you were scared to talk about sex, yada, yada, yada. Boom. Carrie probably would have been a good parent, honestly. So, Carrie and Miranda are walking. They're leaving the restaurant and they're walking back home. Walking back probably to a cab or something. And Carrie, they see like this little bakery. So they decide to go in. And Carrie says she's going to get her neighbor some brownies to apologize. And while they're talking, Carrie asked Miranda if she was going to buy Steve some brownies. And Miranda had the audacity to ask what was the cost. Carrie said, girl, you about to rock this man's world. Spend a couple of dollars. It's fine. And she asked Miranda if she was going to tell Steve about Che. And Miranda said that no matter what would have happened, she would have gotten to a place where she would have rather been alone than with Steve. Which I'm just like, Miranda's having a midlife crisis. Let's be real. She's having a midlife crisis and she's just not handling it the best way. So Carrie asked a very poignant question. How much does Che want you? And I feel like this is not going to end well for Miranda. I just don't think it's going to end well. But that's a very valid question. Yeah, you're having fun with Che and all this other stuff, but like, is she just having fun with you? Or if it gets down to the thick of it, does she want to be in a relationship with you? Because I just don't think that Che does. I don't think that she does. So we see Carrie goes to her neighbor's apartment. She has her brownies. And a man opens the door. And he was like, Lisette is asleep, which is the neighbor's name. And she was like, okay, well, I bought some brownies. Now, this man is in a towel. He was like, we don't eat sugar. And Carrie was like, of course not. Why would you eat sugar? So they're like in this awkward phase where he's like trying to give the brownies back. She's trying to grab them. They dropped the brownies and he drops his towel. So now he's just naked, swinging and hanging. And Carrie's just like, Lord have mercy. So she goes upstairs and he was like, sorry, ma'am. So now she's being called a ma'am again. I also feel like too, Carrie, you're 55. You say you're 55 on there, you're going to be called ma'am. It's okay. So Miranda goes over to Che's apartment. And Che is like, nope, I'm on my way to Cleveland. That's the Uber. And Miranda is like rambling. She looks like a fucking crazy person. Her hair looked all over her head. She's just like, she looked disheveled, right? And she's like, am I making this up? You know, are my feelings for you not valid? Are they whatever? Like, do you like me just doing a mile a minute? And Che tells her that yes, you know, your feelings are valid because I love you. I'm in love with you. Miranda was like, that's great because I'm in love with you too. I love you too. And Che told her it's not great because we can't be together because of your circumstance. So Miranda is like, that's fine. I can change the circumstance. Don't even worry about it. Che tells her again, is it Che or Shay? Che tells her again, I can't give you traditional. So if traditional is what you're looking for, I can't do that. Miranda, again, just super disheveled. It's like, I don't care about traditional. I hate traditional. I just want to be with you, you and me and you, together forever. And I'm like, she's not reciprocating the way that you should want her to reciprocate right now, Miranda. But it's the thirst, right? So she just looks crazy. Like, I can't say it enough because she looked so disheveled and crazy in that scene. So we have Charlotte and Lily at lunch. Lily sets her phone down on the table and she goes to get a straw. There's a notification that pops up on Lily's phone. It's a picture of her in like some leggings and like a little sports bra. Somebody commented that it was hot. Charlotte is freaking out because this is what Charlotte does. Charlotte freaks out if them kids sneeze. So she asks Lily, what is it? Like, this is an Instagram I follow. I feel like every kid has a Finsta at this point. I remember my brother telling me about his nephews, and I'm like, and this nephew's Instagram account, I'm like, I'm sure he has a Finsta. He's 16, he has a Finsta account. So every kid has a Finsta. Charlotte does what she does, so Lily kind of walks away from her, walks to Carrie's apartment. So she's there with Carrie, looking through the clothes and stuff again. Carrie, I think, is giving her some of her older vintage things, some things that, she doesn't feel they need to keep. And Charlotte calls Carrie. And Lily is like, don't tell her I'm here. I want to stay the night. Like, she fed up with Charlotte. She's sick of her mama's whatever. So Carrie goes in the bathroom and talks to Charlotte and, like, looks at the picture and is like, you've been out with me in way less clothes. But kind of tells her, like, she's coming into herself. Like, I can see the way she looks at clothes, the way she's looking at the fashion. She's just trying to figure some things out. You have to give her the grace and the space to do that. So Carrie agrees. And Charlotte agreed to let Lily stay over. They said it'd be good for everybody involved, right? Carrie's neighbors are once again blasting music. Now it sounds like a full-on rave downstairs. Carrie goes downstairs, sees that the door is kind of pushed open. So she, pushes the door open, sees Lisette passed the F out on the couch, like a glass or bottle in her hand. So Carrie turns down the music, blows out the candle for them. And then she sees the mail, gets her name, and kind of Googles her name because she's been trying to figure out how can that young girl afford the better apartment downstairs. So the next day, she's out for her walk around the block with a cigarette, and she calls Seema and tells her she is she's like a jeweler designer from California that has moved to New York looking for inspiration. So she's like, I'm going to play nice with her, clear everything up so that, I don't look like the crazy lady from upstairs. So while she is dressed in these rubber gloves and all this other stuff, smoking a cigarette, Lisette, the neighbor, sees her and just says, hi. Lisette seems cool. She's probably just young and still in, the party stage. She ain't thinking about you, Carrie. She ain't judging you at all. Trust me. So, now we see Miranda and Steve. Miranda comes there. Steve got one damn hearing aid in. And she's like, can you put both of them in? He was like, just talk into this ear. She wants you to hear her clearly, Steve, right? So he's looking in the couch cushions for the hearing aid. And I'm like, why would it be there? Why are you okay with it being there? Why? But whatever. So she asked for his hands. And he was like, we don't hold hands. Ew, no. He was like, what are you going to ask me for a divorce? So he's like joking. And then she was like, I'm not happy. So it turns into this awkward ass cringy conversation where she's giving him the it's me, it's not you, as if they aren't married. And Steve just tells her, look, we've been going through this roller coaster since forever. We've been together for a long time where you feel I'm not enough for you, and then you feel that I am, then I'm like kind of sort of enough, then I'm not enough, then I'm everything. He was like, but now we've gotten to a place where we're not on the roller coaster anymore. Things have been good. We wake up in the morning, we go do what we need to do because we're grown, adult-like stuff. We come home at night, we sit on the couch, we talk about our kid, we watch TV, we have the dessert bowls. Like, that's our thing. That's what life is at our age. Miranda said, no, that's not what life is. She doesn't think that's what life is for her. So as a result, she keeps saying that she's not happy. She wants to go do whatever. Steve tells her, look, I'm too old to try to rally for us and keep us together like I used to back in the day, which basically means when you're gone this time. And Miranda was like, I don't expect you to. Steve said, all right, I want you to be happy, but I don't know what do you think is still out there? Miranda tells him, I've met somebody. And I said, ugh. And that's all we see. But then we see her calling Carrie, and she's telling Carrie, I didn't even hurt his feelings. You just told your husband of how many years that you done met somebody. The fuck do you mean you didn't hurt his feelings? Miranda gone somewhere, girl. So Miranda is like, I feel exhilarated and free and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm on my way to go to the airport. She is on her way to the airport, y'all, to surprise Che in Cleveland at their show. to tell Che that we cannot be together. Miranda gonna get that face cracked. Something serious next episode. This is not going to work the way that she wants. Miranda is in a midlife crisis. Y'all. Wow. I'm Tammy. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, thumbs up the video, and I will catch you guys next week.